Good morning. We have left Watchtower, but we mustn't leave God. We have a spiritual side that needs to be kept alive. As Jesus said, we don't live on bread alone, on material things. We need faith in God, especially at this time. In Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, it says that when Michael arises, there shall be a time of trouble such as never has been since there was a nation till that time. How are we going to survive this? With faith and prayer. Now, I have a story for you, but this time it's about Elijah. Elijah was a prophet to Ahab and Jezebel, who were horrible. They were worshippers of Baal, idol worshippers, and so wicked. Consequently, Elijah, who was sent by God, said this to them: "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, before whom I stand, there shall be neither dew nor rain these years except at my word." So there was a drought. Ahab and Jezebel got really angry, so the Lord said to Elijah, "Run away." He ran eastwards and across the Jordan, as far as we know, to the valley of Cherith. We're not absolutely certain where it is, but it's on the east side of the Jordan. It's a torrent valley. Now that means that if it was raining, it would fill with water and be quite dangerous. But there's no trouble at the moment because, of course, there's a drought. Now, it's a deep valley and it would have had shade, but it's below sea level. All the Jordan is below sea level, so it would have been hot. I want you to put yourselves in the place of Elijah, sitting in this valley, possibly in the shade, but there's no civilization and no food, although there is water in the stream still. What are you going to eat? Well, the Lord says this in 1 Kings 17 and verse 4. "You shall drink from the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there." And the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, bread and meat in the evening. Now, did he cook it? I don't know, but being a torrent valley, there would have been dry sticks washed down that Elijah could have lit a fire, or because it's so hot, the stones in the sun might have been hot enough to cook the meat. Doesn't matter, he was fed. But eventually, of course, the stream dried up with the drought. So then what? The Lord said to Elijah, "You go to Zarephath." Now, this was not an Israelite city. This was from the Sidonians. And a widow there who wasn't an Israelite, but she recognized Elijah was a man of God. She had a little bit of oil and a little bit of flour, and that was the end of her food supply. Elijah said to her, "Make me a little scone, and then you and your son can eat." She did as he said, and from then on the little bit of flour and the little bit of oil didn't run out until the end of the drought. If you ever find yourself in a situation when the end of the world comes and the cupboard's bare, go and pray for help. Go back and look in the cupboard. There will be something. One thing I do know is that the Lord will provide, but he will never provide in the way that you expect, well, not usually anyway. It'll take you by surprise. But certainly you will get an answer. So, once again, a little bit later in Elijah's process, he was responsible for the death of hundreds of Baal worshipping priests who were horrible. Now, I'd like you to read these accounts in 1 Kings chapters 17, 18 and 19. It will increase your faith. But Jezebel was on the warpath and she wanted to kill Elijah, obviously, so he ran away. And he ran a long way into the desert. He was exhausted, fell down and slept. But it says that an angel nudged him awake. It says, "An angel touched him and said to him, 'Arise and eat.' And he looked, and behold, there at his head was a cake baked on the hot stones, and a jar of water. He ate that fell asleep again. And once again the angel nudged him awake and said, "Arise and eat, because the journey was too much for you." So Elijah ate and drank, but he kept going in the strength of that food for 40 days and 40 nights. Now this is not unprecedented, because Moses also, when he was in the mountain in Horeb, obtaining the law from God, he also went without food for 40 days and 40 nights, as did Jesus after he was baptized. The Lord can do far more than we think he can. He will provide, possibly in ways we don't expect. So, in conclusion, I want to go to James chapter 5, because prayer is vital. And James says here, the prayer of a righteous person has great power when it's working. Elijah was a man with a nature like ours. Elijah was exactly the same as us. He had faith. All right, he had a great deal of faith. He prayed fervently that it might not rain, and for 3 years and 6 months it didn't rain on the earth. Then he prayed again, and the heaven gave rain, and earth bore its fruit. The Lord will listen to us. He will help us. Our prayers will be effective, but we need faith. Do what you can to keep your faith strong, and God will be with you. God bless.